Greetings, dear viewer, and welcome to another episode of News Reboot. Today is like a few following Monday news reboots, a recorded episode because we are on a summer vacation with Betty. Stefan will be here watching at the house. Uh, Please, if you haven't done so already, leave a like, subscribe, and tickle the notification bell, and check all of the links in the description box below. And a huge thank you to my patron Flems. I would like to remind you of the existence of my Patreon page, which is patreon.com/ Heidi's Corner, and there will be a link up there and in the description box below. There is tiers starting from €3 a month, which is the Unicorn crew, and this goes up to €30 a month for Bertil's people. Huge thank you to Flems, who is my patron. Patron has Patreon page of mine has existed for 10 months or so at this point, and Flems has been my patron from almost the very beginning. So big shout out to Flems. As the title of this video suggests, this is mostly about, pretty much only about Republicans and other conservatives and their minions, if you will. The Republicans and their minions, in this case, are known for being some of the dumbest, most right-wing, and the most dangerous people out there in the Western world. Certain other parts of the world, it's worth another video, but that is not today. The Republicans and their minions, including Trump, Donald Trump, and Fox News, for example, are known to be predominantly authoritarian fundamentalist Christians, predominantly evangelicals, but we have also the Baptists, etc., etc. One of their so-called think tanks, as if they really had any higher brain functions, if you ask me, is now advocating for the legal US government being overthrown and being overthrown, and they would like to abandon democracy and replace it with, and I quote, Christian-centered government that uses the power of the state to impose order on anything it deems immoral. So the news article is that I picked up for this is from LGBTQnation.com. Well, I picked this topic because I found this article when looking for material for this very episode. It's the link for this article is down in the description box down below, and there you will also find all the links regarding my channel, the playlist links, Patreon, which is patreon.com/Heidi's Corner. There's also PayPal link and my Discord server links. LGBT plus safe space and my channel server Heidi's Corner, and huge thank you and shout out to my patron Flems. I couldn't do without you, as you are one of my moral supports. Now, the article from LGBTQnation.com. So here it starts that now a right-wing think tank has preferred a new set of guidelines for the conservatives. the Edmund Berg Foundation has come up with something called National Conservatism, a statement of principles, pardon me, which also aims to, and I quote, aims to fill the vacuum left by the collapse of the old standards, and by any measure, this statement is a frightening call to abandon democracy in favor of Christian-centered government that uses power of state to impose quote-unquote order on anything they deem immoral or inappropriate. And what the Edmund Berg Foundation is, it's a conservative, very conservative group of people, or a think tank, really, if you will, based in The Hague, in the Netherlands. And The Hague is the seat of government of the Netherlands. The principal statements regarding the government and religion are quite horrendous, to be honest. They slam the UN, NATO, as well as George W. Bush, and especially George W. Bush, especially for, and I quote, for liberal imperialism of the last generation sought to gain power, influence, and wealth by dominating other nations, by trying to remake them as its own image. As for regarding the national or their principles for regarding national governments and religion, they claim that local laws aren't valid as ruling power. They should be overthrown by these totalitarian national government, which has been in their agenda being replaced. The actual democracy has been replaced by anti-democracy, the what could be considered authoritarian dictatorship, which the U.S. government, the political system isn't really too far from being an authoritarian dictatorship, in my opinion, which I think it already was for a number of years during President Trump's place or reign as president and the supreme commander of the army of Republicans funded by the Russian government. Basically, in my opinion, and it's quite clear that during Donald Trump's reign, the U.S. government was directly funded by the Putin's government in Russia. But many may disagree with me on this point, but I really don't care. And hence the laws that they would target should be the local laws, and the state laws in particular should be a target of dissolution of reign, or the local government or state governments should be dissoluted from their reign and replaced them as and they wish to replace these governments in order to eradicate what they want to eradicate, what they call, and I quote, lawlessness and immorality in the local state governments, which is absolute bullshit. Okay, so let's have a look at what the article has to say about LGBTQ plus issues, the role of Christianity, as well as what they have to say about atheists and non-believers, which are atheists, Jews. They don't mention Muslims by specifically explicitly mentioned Muslims and other non-Christians, um, as well as LGBTQ plus. It's quite 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 interesting to say the least. So what they do here is, let's see, starting here, as if it wasn't enough, the principles of the statements they have published, or the foundation guidelines, whatever you want to call it. Um, the principles outline the foundation for theocracy and erase separation of church and state, which has been an essential and integral part of the United States of America, as well as many, or most, if not all, Western countries. There are perhaps a few exceptions, most notably the Vatican, which is an absolute theocracy, but that is the role of Vatican is a completely other, a whole other question. Okay, so what? And let's quote once again. So the statement says, for millennia, the Bible has been our surest guide, nourishing a fitting orientation towards God. Bullshit. Come on. Seriously. To the political traditions of our nation. Bullshit again. Come on. Seriously. You should know better than that. Then back quoting, to quote, to public morals. Well, if you take the biblical morals into your everyday, um, if you take your morals and what is legal, what isn't legal, and what shouldn't be done, what is right and shouldn't be, and what should be right and what should be wrong, you would be charged for so many crimes, including most likely including crimes against humanity, uh, manslaughter, probably manslaughter, murder, rape, overthrowing the government, treason, it's, pedophilia, etc., etc. Okay, so they want to defend the weak children, the disabled people. They want to. There is all. If you take the biblical moral, literally, it says, "Spoil the rod, spare the rod, spoil the child." So you have to beat your children. In order to love your children, you need to beat your children. Is that defending the weak? If you think that is defending the weak, I say, fuck you. And then I quote, under the recognition of highly regarded, under the recognition of things highly regarded as sacred, the statement says, oh, it is so much wrong. What they say about education next is just horrendous. Okay, you little fuckers. Um, so here it says, the Bible, in according to this absolute disgrace of a first statement, the Bible should be read as the first among the sources of a shared Western civilization in schools and universities. Oh, you encourage higher education. Typically, the higher your education is, the less religious you are. It's a fact, because the higher your education is, the better you can think with your own brain. And it's a rightful inheritance of believers and non-believers alike. And I quote, where a Christian majority exists, public life should be rooted in Christianity and its moral vision. Oh, come on. Come on, you little fuckers. Remember what I just said about the criminality of the Bible, of the, what is considered, would be considered criminal. regarding a number, what in the Bible would be considered criminal. So a lot of things. And I quote continues, which should be honored by the state and other institutions, both public and private. And as we know, this is absolute bullshit. I call bullshit on this one. And yeah, this is super weird in general. This entire concept. And as for Jews, Muslims, non-Christians, they say here the document graciously allows that Jews, and I quote, Jews and other religious minorities are to be protected under this new system, new world order. This is what they uh, are supposedly against. They're against new world order, but this is their new world order. What hypocrites! These little fuckers. I don't understand these people. And note here it says here in the article it says note that Muslims aren't mentioned by name. However, there is no acknowledgement of the growing number of people of no faith who now constitutes more than a quarter of American adults. Apparently, those people would have few, if any, protection. Uh, I wouldn't be too surprised if this was the case. That yeah, it sucks so much. So weirdly enough, there is a gay guy, a gay billionaire named Peter Thiel, um, among the signatories of this. Okay, let's call it a statement, or something along those lines. Okay, but a wealthy gay guy involved in shit like this. It's surprising, really, because it's a well-established fact that the people who think it's appropriate to woo peddle shit like this tend to be really, really, really homophobic and transphobic. It's been several times that these conservatives have come out openly, like Pastor Burns, the Congress candidate who wanted to kill or rather execute all those who support young LGBTQ plus people, as well as people akin to Steve Anderson, etc. They want to kill the people who woo peddle this, want to kill the queer people, and then a queer guy goes on the same boat with them. It's quite astonishing if you really think about it. But not so weirdly enough that the the people among the signatories are extremist um, uh, right wing think tank. Well, think tank. There are plenty of predominant Republicans, and they are into quite heavy versions of authoritarianism. Also, these extremist right wing think tank folks, these prominent Republicans, or rather Republicans, if you will, um, these are people who actually have the power and the money, especially the money, to make shit like this actually happen. And there has been absolutely zero, absolutely no resistance from within the Republican Party, whether it be state or federal. And these people are also the ones that support Trump, former President Donald Trump, and his minions in the woopeddling regarding the disinformation about the January 6th, 2020 events on the in the U.S. federal Capitol Hill. The riots. Those who tried to partially succeeded in getting at getting into the Capitol buildings and threatening democracy in some of the worst possible ways. And I am comparing this situation in the late 1920s and 1930s Germany. You all know what I'm talking about. Anyway, this is it. This is it for today, and I will link, of course, as I said, will link everything in the description box below, and also the article from lgbtqnation.com, as well as the playlist links, link to my Patreon, which is patreon.com/Heidi's Corner. There's a PayPal link. A very big thank you to Flems, my patron, my lovely, charming patron. As well as there is playlist links and also the invitation links to my Discord servers, which are Heidi's Corner, which is my channel server, as well as the LGBT plus safe space server. Now, thank you for watching, and I'll see you this Friday live on my channel with a Random Friday.